On January 19, 1530, I left for the Indies, as if I was running away from my own country. From Gomera, we sailed to Santa Martha, Colombia, where my men were told by its governor that the expedition to Peru was madness, and they could get rich without going to unknown places to die. I sailed to Nombre de Dios, in the east side of Panama, with less men than I had brought. Almagro was waiting for me, very concerned with the few grants that I was able to secure for him. He began to quarrel with Hernando, who was critical of him. During the crossing of the isthmus to the city of Panama, many of my men died. My partners had been able to secure more men and ships. One of them was Hernando de Soto, a man of great wealth and courage who would join us later. With the added contingent, we were ready for a final assault to the land of the Incas. This time as an expedition of annihilation, and not of recognizance. It had taken Francisco Pizarro 6 months to sign the capitulation of Toledo, Jan to July 1529, half a year to get ready and sail to the New World, July to December, 1 year in Panama to prepare for the third expedition and start the cruelest of conflicts. But a conflict, it was not. It would be the most sanguinary genocide ever, which dwarfs any other bloody event in the history of mankind. Holocausts are historical accounts, but to the Indians, it happened, it is happening, and it continues to be perpetuated even by those who have suffered these tragic events in their own flesh. What befell us not only decimated our people, but all indigenous civilizations of the Americas. Unfortunately, the Indians are not a cohesive ethnic group able to liberate themselves. These days no one is uttering one word on their behalf, and they are not of any concern to the world court. We have lost the yearning to cry to the four winds, and, as the stones of our ruins, we no longer feel the flames of the incandescent racism or the frigid indifference of mankind to our plight. We live under the universal God-given right of survival of the fittest, and there is no more veridical fact than the one we have been practicing since the beginning of time. Thus, it behooves the Indians to unite and fight for their rights, understanding that God looks after those who are willing to walk over the carcasses of others, and our hopes will always be in the humanity of our inhumanity. Man of the future, the law of the strongest is a supreme mandate and why I believe in a higher authority. With the blessings of the Almighty, we sailed to Peru in December 1530 to do God's works. What an idiocy! You thought that you had His blessings to destroy a civilization. Under what pretense? For His glory. And just like the Crusaders, we will also massacre these infidels with the Church's blessings. Maybe the Creator wanted to be that way. Let us hope that someday humanity will have some mercy for the Indians. I wish I could call you an idealist, but you are a sacrilegious heretic. Don Francisco. I am a mestizo, I have some Spanish blood, and like your Quixote, I also would like to fight against the windmills of injustice. For now, we have to say goodbye. I will not see you until you are in the land of the Incas, and the rest will be the history of Peru. Coincidental with the departure of Pizarro, the Incas were embroiled in a civil war. My soul goes to encounter the last and legitimate sovereign. HUÁSCAR, your father's mummy is arriving from Quito. Are you going to celebrate his entrance? Man of the future, are you still with us? Where have you been? You seem to be disconnected with the events that are taking place in Cuzco. I fear that the worst is going to come from my own subjects. Inca, I have been in the land of the people who are coming to conquer your empire. It is them, and not your subjects, whom you must fear. I am the lord of the land. No shaman like you is going to forecast our end. HUÁSCAR, in this trip to your past, we should try to understand the reasons for our downfall. Perhaps our tragic destiny began after your father died of the pestilence brought by the invaders. How could he have contracted their disease, if he was never in contact with them? Oh! No! The strangers had been exploring in the north for a considerable time in order to come to the heart of the empire. The coastal people were the first ones to come in contact with the foreigners, and through them your father indirectly contracted their disease. He suffered a horrible death on account of the plague and also, because he never knew if they were demigods or just usurpers. He had rumors of both. Unfortunately, his own subjects allowed the invaders to explore the coast of the empire. Unlike other nations, farther north, who fought the explorers everywhere they stopped. But then, they were savages, who perhaps understood more about freedom than the civilized Incas did. That is why we have never trusted the northerners. You have to start to think of all of you as one people. Especially now that you are going to confront a common enemy with a different way of thinking. It behooves you to know that once they were certain of the existence of the Inca Empire, they left not for good, but to return with more resources and subjugate your nation. Why are you telling me of all these unwelcome events? Just let it take its course, as it happened. I do this in order to understand who we were as a people, and why we lost as a race. Lost as a race? We were the Incas. For that reason you succumbed to them, like the mestizos who think of themselves other than Indians, when both are the same. In spite of what you are saying, I will take care of the strangers if they come. Before I do that, I have to get rid of my own enemies who are in Cuzco and in Quito. Lamentable, your descendants are going to pay for the consequences of your politics of persecution. Country soul, if you don't know yet, we are not united. I am going to put an end to this anarchy that is destroying us. Inca, you should know that to these days we are still a disunited country. Perhaps I should call you a man of doom for being so negative about us. Let us continue, and you will understand why I am a man without hope. I understand that as soon as you found out that your father died, you appointed your own high priest, Chalco Yupank, to crown you. I did that because the center of the empire is Cuzco, and Huayna Capac promised me the crown. Your father took 2 of your brothers to the north who fought at his side. He probably realized that one of them was abler than you were to be a king. Man of the future, whoever is going to lead these lands has to be from Cuzco and reside in the sacred city. I don't trust anyone who is 8 months away, and has nothing in common with us. As it is, my father and Ninan Quayosh are dead. I hope that you are not implying that Atahualpa should be next in line. Sepa Inca. The funeral party of your father's mummy will be arriving at the outskirts of Cuzco. Chuca Huaman and Cusi Itachi go and accompany the funeral procession in their last trek. Let me know if there are any unusual activities in their entourage. For the last time a triumphant Inca warrior, although a mummy, crossed the Apurimac River. Once in Lima Tambo, the intrigues began. Nobles. Huáscar is not fit to be king. We should get rid of him and crown Cusi Itachi, his younger sibling. Chuca Huaman, we know that Huáscar is a lecherous man. But who is going to dethrone him? I will personally go to Cuzco and carry out his demise. But Cusi Itachi shouldn't know of our plans. Once Huáscar is dead, I will return and crown his brother. Chuca Huaman, instead of doing what he had planned, he told Huáscar that his brother and the other nobles were planning to kill him. I knew it. I can't even trust on my own family. Go and get rid of all those rebels, including my brother.